So when I turned 18, I had one of the best jobs imaginable for a young, inspiring alcoholic. I worked in a bottle store, surrounded by crates of double brown and RTDs, stacked in intricate designs taller than myself, with the sweet smell of stale beer wafting over from the fill-your-own flagons. I was in heaven, and I didn't even know it. I got to sample freebies from the reps, give away prizes and talking nonsense with the regulars that came in for their daily dose of Rebel Cola. It was all going well until the day that I dropped an entire pallet of Steinlager while reversing the forklift. Man, I can still hear the sound now. But it did get me thinking though about New Zealand's drinking culture and how far we've come. So let's take a look back at the history of how it all started in this mini documentary on New Zealand's binge drinking culture. Alright, let's rewind the clock. Way back. Pre-Lion Red and pre-Tui Girls. So, like all good horror stories, ours starts with the early Europeans. Sailors, missionaries, traders, thieves, they were just bringing the Queen's speech, religion and infectious diseases. They also bought booze and barrels of it. Rum, brandy and port. And by the early 1800s, alcohol was already causing concern. The first proper pub in New Zealand is believed to have opened in the 1830s in Russell. The town earned its reputation as the hellhole of the Pacific, which, let's be honest, sounds like a place you'd want to visit. By the mid-1800s, homebrewing was pretty common because beer was safer than water in some areas. And the first major brewery, Captain Cook Brewery, opened in Auckland in 1854, and the industry took off like a disco fiend after a free line on the toilet cistern at the Big Coomera. Eventually, DB and Lion emerged as the beer gods of New Zealand. The 1900s brought prohibition votes, temperance movements, and 6 o'clock closing laws that encouraged furious speed drinking, because nothing says responsible drinking like inhaling 6 pints in under 45 minutes after work. And then there was the invention of the swapper crate, a Kiwi's rite of passage. 12 glass bottles in a wooden crate that could double as a step stool, a seat, or a weapon if things got out of hand at a party. Now this is where things get crazy with the marketing campaigns. New Zealand breweries went absolutely feral with their advertising in the late 90s and 2000s. There were Tui billboards with slogans cheekier than your drunk uncle at a wedding. The Tui billboards became part of our national identity. Witty, cheeky, a lot sexist, and often nailed to the side of rural sheds for eternity. And then came the Tui Girls. Wow. Beer sales via bikinis, because nothing sells a cold brew to horny blokes quite like an awkwardly staged cackle of wild, gorgeous women holding jugs of beer like they're carrying a newborn Jesus fetus. The export ads went down the party and flatting route with the inclusion of the Flat Olympics, featuring the wheelbarrow race with trick shots, then changing things up with a Matrix-inspired theme entry, because nothing shouts mid-2000s like a slow-motion CGI heavy tribute to Neo. Speight took a very different track. They made beer emotional. You weren't just drinking a lager, you were having a Southern man moment, because you were stoic, strong, and emotionally repressed, but always there for your mate in your oilskin. Their slogan, good on you mate, wasn't just advertising, it was a life philosophy. And the bottle stores became promotional wonderlands. Buy a 24 box of Tui, get a half a yard glass. Buy a box of Lion Red, here's a branded Hawaiian shirt that instantly starts a party. 3 boxes? Whoa! Slow down there. You're now the proud owner of a blow-up couch that deflates after one sad afternoon outside at a barbecue. These giveaways were encouraging us to gobble down goof juice like our life depended on it, and we loved it. So there's 3 major drinking milestones in a Kiwi's life. Your 16th was usually a dodgy party in someone's garage, with a stolen bottle of Malibu and a 6-pack of KGBs. Your parents pretended not to know, the music was loud, the vibes were off the chain, and someone always spewed behind the woodshed. Then came your 18th, legal drinking by today's standards. Your first real trip to the bottle store, flashing your ID like it was a golden ticket. Suddenly you're allowed into bars and seedy nightclubs that you used to mock for being gay. Finally, after waiting outside in the cold and acting as sober as possible, your ID gets scanned and you're officially allowed to pay $14 for a Heineken. You're dressed like you're going to a wedding and pre-shit-faced before Usher starts playing on the dance floor. And let's be honest, that excitement lasts for about 20 minutes. After that, it's just smoke everywhere, from the dance floor to the bathrooms, because smoking hasn't been banned in bars yet. The floors are mysteriously sticky, the music's terrible, and someone's been leaving Picasso paintings on the toilet walls. And little did you know, you're about to be kicked out for wearing no pants and fighting the bouncer. Turning 21? That was a sacred ritual. Back before the drinking age dropped to 18, 21 was when you really joined the adult table, and waiting around until then made the traditions even more brutal. A PowerPoint of childhood photos that included at least one nude baby shot and 5 awkward teenage ones, and your mum or dad telling a traumatic story that would embarrass you for the rest of eternity. But then, there's the yard glass, towering, bulbous weapon of beer-based humiliation. Your mates filled it with warm, flat lager, which sat idly by, waiting for the opportune moment to ruin the rest of your night. You had to finish it in one go and in front of everyone while they screamed encouragement or filmed your downfall. And while clubs and pubs were an option, most people chose the humble house party, where the booze was cheaper, the kitchen table doubled as a cocktail bar. There was always one guy in the corner playing an acoustic guitar, one couple fighting on the lawn, and someone making toasties at 2 a.m. like a drunk fucking Gordon Ramsay after 6 vodka cruises. For a long time, your local pub wasn't just your local watering hole, they were an institution. They were part of our weekly routine. You'd finish work, head to the local, and have a yarn with the regulars. These places were the third place, that magical in-between where community happened. Not work, not home, just a neutral ground where the stories were shared, darts were smoked, beersies were polished, and life made a little more sense. Then there was COVID. Lockdowns forced everyone inside, social routines were shattered, and even when pubs reopened, many never returned. Why bother paying $150 on a night out when you can get a bottle of wine and stream Netflix for a fifth of the cost? Inflation skyrocketed and wages didn't. Beers went from $5 to $13, and in a cost of living crisis, suddenly the pint became a luxury, not a habit. While bars tried to adapt, the foot traffic kept on dropping. Because this isn't just an economic issue, it's a cultural shift. The pub used to be where people met their partners, found community, and picked fights with strangers instead of going home to beat their missus. Now people match on Tinder, message twice and ghost each other. It's inefficient. It's also kind of bleak and fueling what some are calling the loneliness epidemic. Right, we've had our fun. Now it's time to sober up. So it's pretty easy to laugh at the culture of booze when you're outside of it. But for many Kiwis, alcohol is more than just a social lubricant. It's a crutch, a habit, or an escape. I had my first drink at 13. It was a stolen can of beer from my brother. And at 14, I got properly sloshed for the first time. And from there, it was most weekends. And I wasn't alone. It was normal. You'd hear about an upcoming party during the week at school, and then you'd be planning on how you'd score your booze. All I can tell you is that I bought more bottles of Kentucky Gold and 2-litre bottles of Coke to fill a Olympic-sized kiddie pool. But here's the sad truth. New Zealand ranks amongst the highest in the world for binge drinking per capita. According to the Ministry of Health, over 20% of Kiwi drinkers consume alcohol in a hazardous way. Alcohol contributes to over 800 deaths per year in New Zealand, and we have some of the highest rates of alcohol-related violence and youth harm in the developed world. Behind the she'll be right attitude is a deep-rooted problem. For many families, alcohol is the villain in the story. It drains bank accounts, fuels abuse, and it wrecks childhoods. And that's why a decline in drinking isn't just sad pub economics. It's a sign that maybe, just maybe, we're starting to wake up. So, are fewer people drinking really such a tragedy? Are closing pubs a cultural loss or a course correction? Well, honestly, I'll let you be the judge. So that's it. That's the end of our journey. If you like this video, you might like some of my other documentaries, like this one I'm suggesting right up here, or maybe this one I'm suggesting here. And if you haven't done it already, make sure you like the video down here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one, eh?